Hi, and welcome to 8.6 Part 2. So for here, what's going to change is you might notice that I have added an equals 0. We are actually going to be solving and finding out what x equals this time. Now there is a catch. It always has to equal 0. I'm going to do another example later where you're going to have to fix that. Okay. Basically, what's going to happen is I need you to factor like we did earlier. So what adds to 3 but multiplies to -4? And I make my table on the side and I say, okay, 1 times what is -4? 1 times -4. But that does not add to a +3, that adds to a -3. So let's try -1 and +4, because a negative times a positive is still a negative number, but now it does add to a +3. And so up here I have x minus 1 and x plus 4. And it still equals 0. So far it's the exact same as last time. What is going to change is I'm going to have to recognize, in order to have two things being multiplied together equals 0, one of them has to equal 0. 0 times a number is the only way to get the answer to be 0. So to recognize that, I'm going to take these two parentheses and I'm going to make two different equations. X minus 1 equals 0 and x plus 4 equals 0. Crowding in on my work, sorry about that. Okay, and again, that's because one of those has to equal 0 in order to multiply to be 0. From here, though, you can totally solve these. These are easy peasy one-step equations. So I have x equals 1 and x equals -4. You have two answers, and there they are. So let's try another example. This time you'll notice it does not equal 0, and I said that that was a rule, was that it had to equal 0. So I need you to make it equal 0 by simply taking everything on this side and moving it over to the other side. So since it's a positive x, I'm going to subtract x. And since it's a positive 8, I'm going to subtract 8. And I'm going to subtract it on the other side where, like, it matches up. So the -8, I'm going to write here. I'm sorry, the -x, I'm going to write here because it matches up with this x. Just like the -8, then, I'm going to write under the -62. And that gives me a happy x squared minus 3x minus 70. Oops. There we go, -70, and now it equals 0. Sorry about that, guys. I've been doing some online shopping, woohoo. Now I can factor and solve just like before. So I'm saying it adds to what number? -3. And it multiplies to what number? -70. Okay, here's my happy table. 1 times what is -70? It would be -70, but that does not add. 2 times -35, but that doesn't add. There we go. 3 doesn't evenly go in. 4, I don't think evenly goes in. 5. 5 times... Oops, I didn't mean to click that. What would that be? 15? But that doesn't add. It'd be negative 15, sorry. 6 doesn't evenly go in, but 7 does. And it does look like those are the two numbers I want. Now here's the biggest mistake I see each year, is someone will say, oh, okay, there's my two answers. Oh, be very, very careful of that. Come back up here and remember to do your x plus 7 and x minus 10 equaling 0. Two equations, x plus 7 equals 0. X minus 10 equals 0. Sorry about crowding on my work. And solve, because what you're going to find is that this is going to be opposite of what you have down there. See how this, negative 7 and 10, are different than the positive 7, negative 10. Okay, these are not your final answer. Do not write those in. Okay, that's everything for this section. And actually, that's it for this week. It's just these two videos. So, see you next week.